Pixel People Pod. Zap, 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 it's on. Rewind the future fraud. The Pixel People Pod.
Hey, you hear that intro? You know what that means. It's time for another episode of the Pixel People Pod. This is Greg, the guy with the face for radio and the voice for telegraph, coming to you this week. And here's my lovely wife, Jan. Jan, say hello, Jan.
Hello, Jan.
And as always, most of the time now, we have the Podfather Chris. Chris, say hello.
Hello. I can't follow Hello Jan. I mean, that's just, I can't follow it.
You can try.
So this week, since we're coming up close on Halloween, we're doing horror and Halloween themed episode. When I had the idea for this one, I was thinking of stuff that children of the 80s, it was just movies that we watched. It's stuff that scared us in the 80s. And when we get around to that, you'll see why I'm throwing that out there, because I didn't watch a lot of scary movies in the 80s. Jan did. Chris, you said you didn't watch a whole lot of scary movies, did you?
No, I was more into I like comedies back then and like action adventure and stuff. There were some horror movies I liked, but traditionally I was more wanted to just goof around and have a good time, so I like to laugh a lot then.
But Jan, you watched a lot of horror movies.
My cousin Sonia worked at a video store, so I got to watch everything when it came out and after it came out.
Even behind the curtain stuff?
Oh, yeah. It was great.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Finally, we have a podcast where you did stuff that I didn't get to experience.
Well, it's only because Sonia worked at a video store.
I talk about all the cool snacks and candies and all the cool stuff I had, and you didn't have any of that. But you got to watch movies, and I didn't. So we didn't have a VCR until like probably 87. And God forbid, no, Mom and Dad were not going to pay for a satellite dish. Forget that. And cable was not running out here in the sticks where I lived. So when DirecTV and what was the other, Prime Star? When that came out in the 90s, affordable dish, satellite dishes, that was like the greatest thing ever. Now, nobody cares anymore about satellite.
It's all streaming.
That's what I have.
Yeah.
I've got Dish Network. That's what I got where I live. To me, when you cut the cord, it's just as expensive as keeping it. So I haven't done that.
Yeah, but you're doing that because you're a sports nut. So.
Well, that's true too. That helps. Yeah, that helps a lot.
So here we go to our segment, Jan's Gnarly News.
Here we go. Jan's Gnarly News. Jan's Gnarly News.
There you go. There's your intro segment, Jan. Hit us with that gnarly news.
All right. Today being October 23rd, top movie 1982, October 23rd, 1982. First Blood with Sylvester Stallone.
Nice.
That was so good.
What a great
That's
We
movie.
just watched that a
movie.
couple of weeks ago
We
again,
did.
and it stands up, man.
I was going to say, it still holds up. It's still such a good movie. I remember that year for Christmas, I asked my mom and dad for a survival knife. So I got one for Christmas. that
Oh, I
year.
didn't go
That
one for
was so
Christmas,
cool.
but
that was
Jamestown Flea Market, we used to go, and I saved up my allowance money, and Dad let me buy one. And I remember trying to cut into a golf ball with it and slicing my hand open and had to get it butterflied
Only
closure. I've
you.
still got the
Nice.
mark on my hand. I should put that up on the Facebook page, my little scar from my Rambo knife. Those are
But
cool.
was it your
And I
first
s-
blood?
And I still go to the Jamestown Flea Market now, about once a month.
Yeah, it hadn't been a long
Yeah,
time.
that's cool.
We should go road
Yeah.
trip.
Road trip. We can write it off as expense for the podcast. Yeah.
Gas money, baby.
Top movie October 23rd, 1985, Commando.
Oh,
Anybody know who that was? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Hitting all
Not
the
as good as First Blood, but still.
No, hitting
Yeah,
all
he
the
was good
big the big action heroes from the 80s right there.
These are my kind of movies.
What
Top
the,
movie,
Wait a minute, hang
October-
on
go
before
ahead.
you get. Who would be the other one? Who would be the third trifecta?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
In the 80s, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
They
Yeah, I
they
would
really
say.
tried to push Chuck Norris back then too.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I guess it
Yeah,
was
I
just
don't know.
those two guys, and then like a bunch of also rans for third though, right?
Well,
Because
Bruce
was-
Willis came along toward the end of it.
Yeah.
The 80s with the diehards and
Who do you
stuff.
think,
That was
Jan? Who
great.
would you argue is the third?
Well, my next movie,
Oh, here we
October
go.
23rd, 1986, was Top Gun with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, he
Tom
wasn't
Cruise was
action,
big.
but he wasn't like the.
You don't think Top Gun had action?
Yeah, but he was a great actor though. The other guys were known for just action, but Top Gun. Yeah, we just talked about that the other week about
Yeah.
with Chris,
And-
the other Chris.
Yeah.
How that movie I've only seen it like twice, maybe ever, but it was really good. And the sequel again, like we talked about last week, really, really good.
I think the sequel's better than the original.
Yeah, you told me that when it came out. You were
yeah.
stoked. I think you and Brad
saw it
Hass were the two
12
biggest
times.
people I knew that was like
I saw it
stoked
12
for
times in the
Maverick.
theater.
12?
yeah.
Did you just say 12?
I did. I
Well,
had my AMC monthly pass. I went there 12 times.
By the way, since you said AMC Monthly Pass, this week's episode brought to you by the State Cinema in Newton. Go spend your money at the State Cinema, not at AMC. Support local. Yeah.
Well, when they do a $25 a month, all I can watch movie pass, I'll support it.
Hey, if you go this weekend, it's $5 ticket for Tron, and you get a free popcorn with it. So
Tron Ares?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
All right. Born October 23rd, 1984, Megan McCain. Anybody remember who she is?
John McCain's
Is
daughter.
that
Absolutely.
John's daughter?
Yep.
Yep.
Gotcha.
She was up until
like
about
one on that day.
2021 on The View,
Yep.
among other things.
Yep. She was the lone conservative voice on The View.
Is that show still on?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
Born October 23rd, 1986, Amelia Clark. She's
Gotcha,
the actress best known for Daenerys
Last
Targaryen.
Christmas.
Last Christmas, what?
Yeah. The George Michael song that made a movie called Last Christmas.
Really?
Off that Christmas song, and she started it. Yep.
That's not what
You need
she's
to
known
watch it.
for, Chris.
That's what she's known for in my
Jan,
life.
tell what before you cut her off, Chris. Tell her, Jan, really tell us what she's known for.
Amelia Clark. She's known as Daenerys Targaryen on
Yeah,
Game
I
of
knew that.
Thrones.
Yes,
I knew that.
she's very good in that too.
She was also, talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger earlier, she was also in Terminator Genesis.
Oh yeah,
With
that's right.
Schwarzenegger.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
Yep.
The one I haven't seen.
Born October 23rd, 1987, Leah Vandale.
Don't know that one.
Who?
Who's that?
You don't know who Leah Vandale is?
No.
I'm going to tell you who she was.
Okay.
Do you remember a wrestler named Carmella?
That's her.
That's her.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Carmella. Yeah. She was a WWE wrestler.
Right.
Oh, okay.
You should know that, Chris.
Well, I was a WCW.
Yeah.
You know what you said?
Yeah.
She was
WWE.
WWE. Wasn't Carmella a candy bar too?
It's Carmelo.
Carmelo.
Yeah.
Close.
He's also a basketball player. No, Mello. That's
Oh, yeah.
right.
I just looked her
Carmelo.
up,
Carmelo
yeah.
Anthony.
I've
That's
seen
right,
her.
Yeah.
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 I've seen her. I looked her up now. Yeah.
Number one song, October 23rd, 1981, Christopher Cross's Arthur's Theme.
I just heard that a couple of days ago on the Yacht Rock channel.
Number one song, October 23rd, 1983, Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart. Y'all loved that song, didn't you?
Yeah, but the Dan Band covering it is the best version of that song. Any song the Dan Band covered, look them up. You'll know what I'm talking about.
Did you see where he just went and did he did something recently doing that, and those people just went insane when he got up there singing that song.
Yeah.
It was insane.
He's great. Yeah, you know who the Dan Band is, Jan. I'll play you some of their music later.
Okay.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right.
Oh, gnarly!
That was Jan's Gnarly News. Okay. Bring us up to another segment. This be the first week we actually get to do this. Errors and corrections.
It's time for errors and corrections, 'cause Greg screwed up again.
So I didn't necessarily screw up from last week. When Jan was running over her 80s foods that she missed and all that stuff, one of them was Boise's chips. And I said, I've never heard of that. I genuinely thought I'd never heard of a Boise's chips. The name did not stick with me. So when the podcast is over and I'm pulling up artwork and pictures to go with it for the Facebook post, I pull up a picture of a Boise's chips. I'm like, oh my God, not only do I remember those, they were the greatest. As Jan said, they were the best chips ever, and they were. And if you don't remember them, look at the packaging. If you're from the 80s, you'll know them, and they were really, really good. And so I actually did know those chips, and they were great. So it wasn't necessarily an error, it's just an omission on my part.
I can't believe you actually missed a snack.
Yeah, I know. So a
I
Boise's
can't believe
just-
you actually were wrong about something.
They're probably not around because the name of Boise's. That's not a good name for a chip.
Boise, Idaho.
Yeah, but is that
Idaho
what?
potatoes.
I didn't think about that. We'll see if I didn't think about that. Come on now. We have this other segment that my buddy Brad gave me the idea for, and I think it's really good. 30 minutes before we did this tonight, I came up with a jingle for it.
In the 80s, things cost less. What did this cost? Give us your guess.
Okay, this segment is, what did this cost? So I have an item from the 80s. I mean, it's from now too. It's an item, but I'm going to throw this out to Chris, you and Jan, and
Okay.
I want you to tell me your best guess on what you think this cost in the 80s. So this specific year, it's a 2-liter of Coke in 1985.
79 cents.
Okay, you're going 79, Chris. What's your guess?
So if we're like the prize is right, I need to go lower because I shouldn't go over.
I think-
I'm gonna say a 2-liter of Coke back then was 49 cents.
Okay, first off, next time I do this segment, I'm going to have me one of those long microphones that Bob Barker carried around. I think I'll start doing that from a podcast. Well, Chris, you were the closest.
Dang
A
it.
2 liter of Coke in 1985 cost 45 cents.
Wow.
Yeah, 45 cents. Now, Jan, what is a 2 liter? Jan knows this because Jan and I are both addicted to Diet Sundrop. And so Jan buys all the 2 liters for the house, and she can tell you what a 2 liter costs. What does a name brand 2 liter cost now, Jan?
You are very lucky if you can find one now for $2.50.
Right.
Can I say something here?
Yeah.
I was out. I had an illness like a week or so ago, so I was out of work for an entire week. So when I got diagnosed, I went to the Dollar General.
Were you
down
down
below
with the
my house.
sickness?
Yeah, I was down with the sickness. Yeah, I was disturbed. But I went down to the Dollar General beside my house to get some Sprite. You know, Sprite, ginger ale, that kind of sodas are good for you. They were running a special 3 for $7
Oh, my God.
on 2 liter Sprites, or they were $2.79 a piece at Dollar General.
Yeah, that's always going to be a little pricier at Dollar General, which you would think they wouldn't be, but yeah.
I was blown away. I was
Yeah.
like, good gracious.
It's weird because actually where I work in vending, you know, the drink prices are now actually cheaper. I think you can buy them in vending than you can in convenience stores, and it wasn't always like that.
Yeah, they're $2 a bottle at my work
Yeah.
out of the vending machine that y'all supply.
They're 50 cents a bottle where I work for
Yeah.
employees.
Well, that
Yeah.
helps.
Even when all this stuff started going up, I remember going in the store and Jan was like, "I'm not paying $2 for a 2 liter Diet Coke." So you bought like the Food Line brand, and it was what, like 89, 79 cents then.
Right.
Well, then like a month later, we go in the store and she's gonna get a couple of the Food Line brand knockoff drinks, and they're gone. Some people realized, hey, this is just as good, and I'm not paying $2 more. So they wiped out the store brand, and it
Get
was
you some
amazing.
Mountain
It's like, yeah,
Lightning.
and
Mountain Lightning, Dr. Thunder.
oh yeah, yeah.
Now the store brand has
all that
gone up
good
to
stuff.
$1.50.
Yeah, store brand's $1.50 now.
Yes. That's why you should drink water.
And
like I do
this will be
every
all
time.
kind of on topic. Someday on one of these episodes, we'll bring up the introduction and quick dismissal in the 80s of 3 liter sodas.
Oh, yes. I remember
I
that.
know why they went away, and well, I'll bring it up on another podcast. You would think they would have stuck around, but they didn't for one simple thing. I'm going to tell it now because I forget about it for now. The reason, do either of you know why 3 liters
I'm
died
going to guess.
out?
I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
When did they die out?
I mean, it was they had probably a 3-4 year run. It probably showed up in around the early 80s, but they were gone 3-4 years later.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
I
gonna
was going
say-
to think
Go
that
ahead.
everything was that Merlin Spur, that dude that died who did the super size.
Oh, yeah. No,
You know, that's what I would think.
it wasn't a health thing.
I would say shelf space.
You would be pretty much correct. The reason they went
Good guess.
away was because of they would not fit in refrigerator doors. Refrigerators were made, you know, the shelving in the doors to put a 2 liter in there, and people would have to shove that 3 liter on its side on one of their shelves, and they were awkward, and people quit buying them because of that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's cool.
all right, we have one more thing in this. This one's more, but okay. Apple stock, 1988. What do you think one share of Apple stock was in 19? I'm going to tell you right now what it is now. You'll find out why. Okay, right now a share of Apple stock is $260 a share. What do you think it was in 1988?
I will say it was probably 15, 16 cents.
Okay, Jan,
$1.25 popped in my head.
it was 14 cents.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, 14 cents a share in 1988. Now let's flip this around, because this is why I did this, because I kind of went down a rabbit hole on this. If you bought one share of stock, I said 1988 by the way, it's 1986. I got that wrong, so that'll be Arizona mission next week. If you bought one share of Apple stock in 1986 at 14 cents, it split between now and then 5 times, 5 stock splits. Well, 2 for 1, 2 for 1. I think one time 7 for 1, and then like a 2 for 1 again. But anyway, if you held on to that one share from 1986 and just let it split and sit there, now you would have 224 shares of it. Your 14-cent investment then on one share of Apple stock would now be worth $58,000 on a 14-cent investment. If you
Thanks
just
for
bought
making me
one
feel
share,
bad.
I know.
you just bought one share and let it sit.
My whole life is wasted.
Yeah, that was you know.
You know what? The thing, like, and I'm not saying, I mean, that's amazing, but like when I grew up around here, like that wasn't anybody that I was in friendship with, in my orbit, my radar, whatever you want
Right.
to call it. We didn't talk about stocks, you know.
Right, well,
Now
nobody
it's like,
did. Yeah.
my son he's 29. He talks about it. I've got guys that I work with in their 20s. They're talking about it and stuff. And I'm like, dude, if I would have had that mindset back then,
It wasn't even a
it's a
mindset,
different
Chris.
world.
If
No,
you
I
had
know.
the internet, then that's the internet's
Yeah.
what's caused that.
I
And
know.
by the way, in
I
case
know.
I don't think I've mentioned this in the podcast overall, but I know we have listeners all across the country because I have friends that listen to it way out there. But when we talk about growing up around here, we're talking about Western North Carolina, the foothills of North Carolina. That's where we're all from. So anybody
God's
ever wonders, God's country. So anyway, that ends that segment. So let's get to the main part of this podcast here. Let's talk about our 80s horror. So
Because today,
yes,
October 23rd, is National Horror Movie Day.
yeah. What are the odds?
Really?
That was by accident too. I did not plan that. I just thought, hey, let's put one out the week before Halloween to give people a chance to listen to it. And it turns out, hey, talk about a nice, But Jan, we're gonna let you go first. It's mostly gonna be Jan and Chris are gonna handle these because, like I say, I was not a big horror person in the '80s. So, Jan, what's the first thing that scared you in the '80s?
Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
I
We
said,
just talked about this earlier.
yeah, I said y'all both discuss it at the same time. Yeah.
That was for me the same. That was for me the same.
I would say me too. As far as the '80s, I've never seen those movies, but I've seen clips and I've seen that. That was one of the more like, wow, that was some, whoever came up with that character, that was good, because that was horrific looking.
It was by Clive Barker, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now I think about it.
Yes, Clive Barker did it.
Let me double check myself. But that to me was not as, Pinhead with his deep voice and, he was Clive Barker. He did that. But that was deep voice, the pins coming out of his head, but it was all, they called them the Cenobites that were around. I think it's how you say that, that word
Cenobites.
around them. They had one called, I looked them up, couldn't remember their names. There was one called Chatterer, Butterball, one guy named Deep Throat who didn't speak out of his mouth. He had almost like a
Are these characters from the movies?
Yeah, they came to torture humans.
Yes, they came through a
okay.
puzzle box. You served.
Yep.
You
I've
solved the puzzle.
seen the puzzle
He
box.
opens this portal.
Yeah.
Portal.
You see it, but that's one guy he spoke through his throat or something, and it looked like but it looked like a vagina in his throat, and it was just, you see this stuff as a kid, and you're like, what in the world am I watching? And it was, and I was a teenager. It wasn't like I was 10. I was 16.
Yeah,
and it was
Pinhead
just
in his
Look,
voice, and he looks and he says, "We'll tear your soul apart."
yeah.
I mean,
it was
he was
It was
creepy.
crazy.
I do
It
like
was
the song by Motorhead. So and not
Hellraiser.
well by Lemmy, yeah, and not when they in rest in peace Ozzy and Lemmy, but I like the song better when it's just Lemmy and not the Ozzy taking a verse. So
Right. Yeah.
but
that to me was the worst.
Yeah,
That was
I'm going to
not
throw
worst,
I'm
but
going to throw in a
scariest.
vote for that being one of the scarier things of the '80s. Jen, do you have any more to add on Pinhead?
Not on Pinhead, no.
Okay.
But
They did two in the '80s too. There was Hellraiser and then Hellbound, Hellraiser 2.
Yeah.
But Hellraiser was by far the one for me.
Thanks to the beauty of cheap Chinese garbage, we have a Hellraiser Pinhead pillow that we got off Temu.
Oh,
and,
nice.
I'll post a picture of it on the Facebook page later.
I watched it today because I looked up Pinhead 2 days ago when I knew we were going to do this, and I looked at it on TikTok, and I've gotten so many Pinhead TikToks coming up. There's one today of a girl who sat there and did that whole dialogue and showed her putting the whole makeup on and everything, putting the pins on her head and stuff, and I was just like, dude, these people are so creative and they have so much more imagination to come up with that stuff than I do. But it was, and it just keeps, I think I'm going to actually watch it probably sometime this week. I'm going to stream it somewhere and watch. I haven't watched it.
Maybe
10
we'll watch
years.
that, Jan, this weekend.
okay, I'm in.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, since you both had that one, let's throw it back to Jan since she has a lot. So, Jan, what's your next one on that?
Well, I was just going to say the next scariest guy in the 80s when it came to horror movies was Freddy Krueger. He was scary.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about his hands, those gloves with razors on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he came to you
And
in the
his
night when you're
face.
sleeping. So yeah.
Oh, his face.
I think to me, the image of him doesn't creep me out as much as some other things, but the whole idea of him coming in your sleep and all that stuff, that's creepy. And I never saw that movie up until 5 years ago. I just never watched the Friday 13th, or not Friday. What are they?
It was Nightmare on Elm
Nightmare on
Street.
Elm Street
Nightmare on Elm
movies.
Street.
Yeah.
I do
There's
remember recently, Greg and I were going down the road, and I started singing the song from Mary on Elm Street.
Fresh Prince.
No, 1, 2, Freddy's coming
Oh.
for you.
You didn't want to sing the Fresh
3,
Prince song?
4,
You
better
talking
lock
about,
your door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. 7, 8, gonna stay up late. 9,
me and Chris
10,
know
never
the,
sleep again.
Welcome to the Nightmare on My Street by
Yeah.
DJ
Fresh
Jesse
Prince.
Jeffrey.
I never forgot it from the 80s.
There is another podcast that I used to listen to. They did like 350 episodes and they called it quits. It was called Real Talk, and they did an entire thing on one episode. It was like 2 hours ranking the horror movies of all time, and these are all sent like movie reviewers from across the country doing the three big guys.
Yeah.
And Freddy Krueger was by their vote the scariest horror character of all time. That's who came out on top for
Yeah.
them.
I can't argue that. I have
It's
a
hard to.
different
I
one,
mean,
but that's for
who's
me.
yours?
I think overall he would probably win it. My buddy Paul has that entire outfit. He made a set of those gloves out of knives, and they were legit. And he had the pullover mask and the sweater. He used to go. He had the full
Wow.
thing. He could come off as Freddy Krueger. Yeah.
Well, let's not forget about The Predator. Did you watch that one, Chris?
I watched that. It was on what was his name? Scott Hansen, To Catch a Predator.
Yeah, wrong movie.
Wrong movie. This
Oh,
one starred
oh,
Arnold
Predator, yes.
Schwarzenegger.
Now you got me there, Jan, because I would have never thought about that. But that was one of the creepiest things.
That
of
thing
that.
was
Yeah.
scary,
Yes,
I'm telling you.
yes.
And he made this clicking sound that, it was a gurgling
the
clicking
Predator
sound.
was. Yeah, I think I've said that for years. That whoever came up with that monster and designed it and stuff should get some kind of reward, because that was creepy, man. Yeah, that
Predator. Yeah.
it wasn't a horror movie, action movie, but that was one of the more scarier.
And when it would show clips from the Predator's view,
With
and
the
he was
thermal
seeing
vision.
people with thermal vision,
Yeah.
that was so scary.
Yeah. That's a good one. I never thought of that one, but you're right.
Arnold was famous for saying in this movie, "It bleeds, I can kill it."
Good call. Good catch.
He
on
was a
that one.
shapeshifter.
Yeah,
The Predator
yeah.
was.
And now that's been close to 40 years probably, and they have series now on streaming and stuff. I don't know what streaming series or what streamer it's on, but there is a Predator, Badlands I think it's called. That's
Yeah.
And I won't forget when his mask came off, and
Yeah.
you could actually see his face, and it was like this creepy crab
we
looking
can't.
thing.
We're a clean podcast, but go back and watch that scene where he goes, "Who the blank are you?" Then he asks Arnold, "Who the blank are you?" That's good writing.
Talking about Predator, did you? And one of the movies that ties into Predator that got me back when I was younger was Alien. That from the last of the 70s that rolled into the 80s when I was
I
old
love
enough,
that.
and then Aliens too. But in Alien, when the alien comes up out of the guy when he's in the dining room and he's eating his food, and then the alien comes up out of him, right? And then you see that and you're like, what did I just watch? And then there's the Alien versus Predator movies that came out, or movie that came out, where they were against each other, which was really a cool movie
Well,
at the time.
Here's something. What you got, John?
Oh, I've just got a tidbit of information. As I talked about the sound that the Predator made, that
Yeah.
clicking noise. That was thought up and performed by a voice actor named Peter Cullen. Does anybody know what he did?
I know that name. I can't think of it. I
He
know
was the
you're gonna
voice
tell
of
me.
Optimus Prime from the original
Nice,
1980s
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Transformers
I think
movie
he just died a
series.
couple years ago.
And he was also the voice of Kit's evil twin Carr
Ooh, I
in the
remember that.
first episode that featured him from the Knight Rider TV series.
I didn't know Kit had an evil twin.
So he came from the Predator.
Chris, you talking about the alien stuff. I've never seen the alien movies, but I know that scene you're talking about because it was spoofed in Spaceballs.
Baseballs. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Another movie I guess I got to watch is Aliens.
I have such a big
So
long
you
list
just
for you to
probably
watch.
need to, every day this week, you probably just need to come home at night and just pop in a horror movie because you're about 6 behind.
I second that.
I'm going to throw one in here. I'm going to jump in and throw something because I only have 2 movies on my list, and they were both made for TV movies. And the first one, I made Jan watch a couple years ago, and she wasn't a fan, but maybe you had to have been there when it came out. It still creeps me out. It's called Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. It was a 1981 made-for-TV movie. I can't give a whole synopsis on it, but this mentally challenged man has a young girl who's his friend, and she plays with him all the time, and she's his best friend, and she gets attacked by a dog, and he brings her into town. she's all bloodied, and of course the redneck guys that run the town think he assaulted her and caused all that, and they hunt him down and kill him. Well, he gets his revenge. You just got to see it. I think it still holds up. I have it on DVD somewhere, but I love that movie. And the thing that I had to laugh about, because it's a typecasting thing. Larry Drake was the guy who played Bubba, the mentally challenged man who he's just slow, but he's the one that dies in it. And what's funny to me is he got typecast because I don't know if either of you ever watched L.A. Law.
I did.
You know Benny, the slow adult who worked
Yes.
for that's him.
That's him?
He played a slow adult in
Oh, my
Dark Knight
Lord.
of Scarecrow. Then a couple years later, he plays the same, and he was not mentally challenged. He was a normal guy, but I guess somebody said, "Hey, you'd be a great guy to play this." So, yeah. But that movie, it's worth going out of your way to find. It's not overly gruesome. It's more of a psychological thing, but it was made for TV
Right.
movie. But it aired probably every year from Halloween from '81 on CBS, probably till '85, and I watched it every year, and it would creep me out every year. That's
I've never even heard of it.
yeah. And
I
like
had never
said,
heard of it till he
It's
was
a
talking
made
about
for
it.
TV movie because we did not have cable and I didn't have a VCR, so that's how I got my horror.
Right. Yeah.
Alright.
Makes sense.
Chris, what you got?
So, I mean, I've got a pretty decent list of stuff. She's already mentioned some of them. We had the same kind of thing. But for me, and it's considered the scariest movie of all time. And I watched it probably 5-6 years ago, and I was like, this movie's not that scary. But back when you were younger, and in the 70s when it came out, but I didn't see it till the 80s, was The Exorcist. That was just, to me, was like one of the levels of horror that you'd never seen before. You had nothing ever been like that before. And that movie just, to me, like, it's still scary, but it's not, like, I look at it now and I watch it and I was like, yeah, that's not the scariest movie ever, but it's just such a classic. It's
Movies
such a
like that
great movie.
suffer because of the stuff that comes after it. Like you say, think about when that movie came out, though. And just like, it would scare people, back then. You'd never seen anything like that. So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
probably
it's
the scariest
crazy.
thing at that
Yeah.
point.
And then another one from the 70s that is not a scary movie, but it's kind of creepy and stuff. And I mentioned this one to you earlier. Not really super scary, but just the Rocky Horror Picture Show. That was just a good, like a different, unique twist on a Halloween
Did
type
it
thing.
scare
It's
you,
just-
though?
That one didn't
Look,
scare
you-
me.
Yeah, that
you
one didn't
think about
scare
it
me.
now, it's scary. Like you look at that, you're like, oh, it's a scary. But like it was just, I don't know. It was creepy more than anything. And I remember the Carolina movie theater in downtown Hickory. I remember when I was a kid.
A poor
we'd
man's
ride through
state
there.
cinema, by the way.
I remember when we were there, they would show on Friday and Saturday nights. They had Rocky Horror Picture Show every weekend on Friday and
Yeah,
Saturday
I
nights
remember
when I was
that.
a
Yeah,
kid.
people used to
And
dress
that-
up and go to that. Yeah,
They still do.
Yeah.
They do. They're probably going to show it. They do it. I think they're doing it again this year. They did it, I think, the last few years. They'll show it Halloween weekend at the Carolina Theater, and people,
Wait.
I've driven by there, and people are dressed up to go to that.
here's a
I
bit of
mean,
trivia on that movie. That is the only musical that I've ever watched that I actually liked.
Yeah,
It,
such
you know,
the
it was
the
campy
the
and
music's
fun, and I
amazing.
liked it, but I
Yeah.
don't normally like musicals.
But have you ever
Yeah.
watched The Sound of Music?
Yes, and I didn't like it.
Oh, what's wrong with you?
I want my music
great
as my
movie.
music and my movies as my movies, and they should. It's in the chocolate and my peanut butter thing. Keep them apart.
Grease? Did you watch Grease?
No, yes, and it's no, don't want that anywhere near my television. But Rocky Horror Picture Show was fun. It was good. I gotta say. All right, Jan, you got something there?
Well, I can't talk about scary movies without talking about Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it was
The first one, 1980.
only the first one or the whole series.
They just got redundant.
Yeah, I know. But
Overdone.
the first one is a totally different movie compared to what the series became, which was always wild to me as a kid because I'd never saw the first one. I mean, I didn't watch any of them, but at the time, but growing up, when I hear Friday the 13th, I don't, it was years before I realized that Jason's not even in the first movie other than the very last scene. I just know Friday the 13th is the hockey mask,
But that very last scene was enough to keep
Yeah,
you
oh,
scared
yeah.
for the rest of your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. The hockey mask thing, though, I remember back in school before I ever saw that movie, somebody had saw it and was telling me like, yeah, and I had to look it up which one it was. It was the final chapter, 1984. They were like, they finally got him. Like they take a machete and slash his head, with the machete, and then you see the hockey mask with the we hear you. But the machete and the hockey mask thing, that stuck with me back. I was 12 years old then, and I was like, oh, he's finally dead, you know. And then you see the next year, there's another one coming out, and
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
one, another one. There's some.
They
If you
never
go
die.
on YouTube, look up, just search one day if you really want to know that. Look up Jason Voorhees masks for the movies. I don't know how you would look it up, but there's a guy who has had molds done of every Jason Voorhees face.
And it becomes
from-
William Shatner.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually Halloween.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Ha. Put you in the errors and corrections next week.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but he's done molds of Jason's face, because I think in every movie his face gets shown, you know, from behind the mask, and it's pretty wild to watch. They put, as much as you think it's just the mask, they put a lot of effort into the face behind that mask. Any good trivia on those? Just the fact that the first movie is like his mom. Who knows? I mean, spoiler alert. I didn't know that when I first watched it. I'm like waiting for Jason to show up, and then I realized halfway through, oh, he's not in this movie.
Camp Crystal Lake is famous now, though.
Yeah, we have a sign coming that we ordered for Camp Crystal Lake to put up down here in the basement. Probably be here tomorrow. We'll put a picture up. So, Chris, what's next you got on your list?
So I've got a couple that were kind of scary, just because of the I don't know. So the Gremlins
Yeah.
was scary to me when it first came out, because it was, you know, don't feed them after midnight, don't get them wet, that kind of thing, and it's just like they
No bright sunlight.
multiplied, yeah, and it was just like, oh, let's like a bunch of rats running around or something. It was just, to me, it was there. And then also another one for me back then, and you're gonna think this one's funny, but just the whole premise of Beetlejuice to me was just a unique, creepy kind of thing. I mean, I wasn't terrified in it, but it was just that whole creepy thing of, hey, you know what? These people ran off a bridge and died, and now they're living in their house.
Yeah, there's
and
it's more of the horror. It's more macabre. But the movie's kind
Yeah,
of
it's
dark.
like-
It's very dark. Yeah.
we're watching people live in our house and have our lives. How are we going to scare them and get rid of them? And you look at it, and then, hey, there's this dude. You say his name 3 times.
It's
and
very
he's gonna show
campy.
up.
You fall into the camp stuff for a while, and then then they have that exorcism toward the end. You see them start
Yes.
to decompose. It gets creepy, yeah, but it's
Yeah.
it's a fun movie. That Michael Keaton is so good.
Yeah, and then and then on that, the whole Beetlejuice thing. I mean, it's like when he, you just see the stuff that he does. That back then it was just like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like that in a movie before. And now it's like normal, but they were doing stuff in that movie that people didn't do in that time. I mean, it was just
Tim Burton,
was,
yeah, he
yeah,
knew what
man,
he was doing.
He just got on the Hollywood Walk of Fame this week.
He's
They just
Tim
put him
Burton
on
is
there.
genius.
Yeah, he earned his spot on the Walk of Fame because that
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
he can do no wrong for me. It's not a horror movie exactly, but it is a Halloween movie to me. Jan's not a fan of it, but one of my favorite top 5 movies of all time is Ed Wood. I love that movie. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to watch it this week. It's Halloween.
The Sweeney Todd one he did.
I hadn't seen
Didn't he
it.
do Sweeney Todd? It was good. And you said you didn't like musicals.
Yeah,
Like the
that's a
only musical you
musical.
liked
That's
was
why I
one?
haven't seen
Well,
it. Yeah.
but look, so back to the Rock. You never saw. I'm off base here for a second, but Rock of Ages. You never saw that. Not the movie
No.
version. I saw it on Broadway.
No.
That was great on Broadway.
No.
But talking about musicals and Halloween and horror and all that stuff, Little Shop of Horrors.
It's been a long
ever
time
seen
since I've
Yeah,
seen
that
that
was
movie.
great. It was great.
That's one I'm gonna
That
put
was
on the
great.
list because I bet you haven't seen that movie close to 40 years since it came out. I think I
Yeah.
might have saw that on Made for TV. I mean, when it got put on TV, so that might be one I have to go back and look at. It's Rick Moranis.
You'll like
I mean,
musicals
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Little plants.
Steve Martin.
yeah.
I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Are we just talking about movies, or can I talk about something else?
It's 80s horror. Anything that scares
That's what
you.
I thought.
Yeah. It don't have to be a movie.
What about, like, music-wise? What about the music video for Thriller?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's almost a movie.
I know, but I'm just saying
To flip that around, we showed that to our granddaughter Jessa, who's 8 now. She loved Michael Jackson, and so she loved all his music. But then JC, who just turned 4 like a year or so ago, we've got the Thriller playing down here, the video, and she fell in love with it, and she kept saying cat movie, wasn't it? Because he turns into a cat movie.
She thinks he looks like a cat.
Mom want to watch cat movie, and we put the Thriller thing on. She'd watch it. She loved it.
Yeah,
But it was
so
creepy. It was,
amazing. Yeah.
that song is so good though. I mean,
Yeah, that to me, like, that still, you show that at Halloween time, that's like, with Vincent Price talking in it,
Yeah.
to me, that was just like, it was like unreal at the time. And then he was also involved in another song by Rockwell, Somebody's Watching Me.
Oh, yeah.
That song's creepy in the lyrics, just that stuff about it is just creepiness, but it was just like Michael Jackson was involved in both of those. And those are the two I think about from the 80s that are horror type songs.
Well,
like,
if
pop
you're going to
songs.
throw that out there as far as music horror goes, I brought this up on a podcast a couple weeks ago. When I was in Boy Scouts and probably like 12 or 13, my aunt's brother, Randall Shaw, he had this big boombox we took on Boy Scout trips, and he had Motley Crue Shout the Devil.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it starts off with that in the beginning, and it's so evil sounding. And then I remember looking at the cassette tape, and they all look like, especially Mick Mars, looked like he just crawled out of the depths of hell. I mean, he
still looks that way.
Yeah, it's a scary looking album cover.
Yeah.
And that music was dark.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's not. I've heard a lot darker music than that album now, but back then it was creepy. So.
And then you had the one video by Metallica in the late 80s where you see the guy.
Oh,
he can't communicate.
Yeah.
From the
Just
movie,
miserable man.
Johnny Get His Gun or Johnny Got His Gun.
Yeah, and I've never watched that movie.
I would like to watch that movie.
I would I would like to as well, but they're talking about how just like that movie is just. I mean, I can imagine what your life's. There's no life there. He's just laying there. I mean, those were like the big songs I thought about for that because of the whole Thriller.
All right, Jan, what you got next on your list?
Creepy things from the 80s. You have to talk about Chucky from Child's Play.
Yeah.
I mean, who's not afraid that their doll's going to come to life? Can we all agree that some dolls are just creepy?
Yeah, that's creepy. But when I first saw that movie, it was years later, and it made me laugh a lot. But
nowadays
as a
it's
kid, that
not
would
funny.
scared the hell out of me. That. Yeah, that was creepy. It still is creepy. I have to put the picture up. You'll see it soon. We bought a Chucky, what would you call it, mask. At Spirit Halloween.
Oh,
and
fun.
It's really well made. When we stuck it on our 4-year-old granddaughter the other day,
I saw that.
It was creepy. I mean, it's watching her stagger around in that mask it was funny, but it was creepy. Yeah.
Do y'all know how Chucky came to be?
No.
He was a mass murderer who did voodoo and put his spirit into the doll in a toy store.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's real childish like right there. That's
Somebody had that idea and thought, hey, we'll get a movie out of this. And it got how many movies and a TV series now out of it?
There's nothing innocent about Child's Play.
Yeah.
The horror movie genre, I mean, they make horror movies for $10 million or less, and they make 70, 80 million. And it's like, you make a horror movie that's decent, that's like a moneymaker, in Hollywood. I mean, just like they just can generate. That's why they make Friday the 13th Part 14 or whatever. I mean, they just make so many of them because they're making money every time.
Well,
which is crazy.
with special effects and stuff now, on computers, you can pump them things out like crazy now.
Yep.
There is still something to be said about the old, makeup that they had to apply and put all that in. We're losing that in movies now. It's kind of sad.
Can we just talk about how scary Cujo was?
Oh yeah, I had
Greg's
that on my
never
list too.
watched this one,
okay.
but Chris, I know you've seen it.
Before y'all talk about it, I've never seen that movie, but I would put that on my list of stuff that scared me in the 80s because I saw the trailer on television. You would see stuff about that movie, and it's like the dog trying to attack the car and all this stuff, and it's like, I remember that scared me from dogs for a long time. I never saw the movie, but that was just the thought of that was creepy.
This movie put two of my biggest fears into play: being attacked by a dog and being trapped in a car. I mean, what could be worse?
Trapped in a car with a dog. So.
We talk about that, like, you do. Like, I'm not the biggest dog person in the world, and maybe it comes back from that. I'm talking about back when you get scared when you're so younger. But then also, if you talk about that, you have to also talk about Pet Sematary. Have you ever seen Pet Sematary?
Greg hasn't. I have.
It's next on Jan's list, so y'all finish up Cujo, then kick into that.
Well, no. I mean, like, Cujo to me was just, and it's not like somebody's got their poodle. You got your little schnauzer dog or whatever. No.
This was a huge, gigantic Saint Bernard.
It was a Saint Bernard?
In the 80s,
right,
I had a neighbor who had a Saint Bernard. Talk about scary. I was terrified of that dog.
Yeah.
I just knew he was going to turn into Cujo.
What was the, Jan, what's the, Earl Owensby, what's the knockoff movie he did?
Who?
Earl Owensby.
Earl Owensby has a movie studio in Shelby. It's still there. I think they still film some stuff on it. He did a knockoff of Cujo, and I've seen I think it's Doberman. Ain't they called Doberman?
I don't know. I'm looking it up.
Yeah, he did a knockoff because he would take these movies like
Rottweiler 3D.
okay, yeah, Rottweiler 3D.
Rottweiler.
Yeah, he would take.
Those are mean dogs too.
This is like a whole subgenre of movies where Earl Owensby would take whatever movie was big back then and then make like a knockoff of it for cheap and make tons of money off of it. So yeah, and that studio still stands in Shelby. They still use it.
Yeah, you
I
can't.
just now saw the trailer for the movie poster for Rottweiler. Dogs at Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't talk about Cujo without talking about Pet Cemetery.
Yeah. Pet Cemetery was just that. And I've got some friends, my friends Josh and Dina, they have a cat that they've got that is they named after, and I'm going to look up the names of the cat. They name it, I can't ever think about what it is, but they call this the cat from Pet Cemetery. And
I know the little
cat,
boy's name was Gage. I don't remember the cat's
yeah,
name.
this like the little gray cat in there or whatever. It was just, I can't remember the name of the cat because that movie did terrify me when I was younger. And
I've never seen that movie, but I know the history of it. I know what it's about. And even as a kid, I knew I never want to watch that movie. I wouldn't watch that movie now. I just don't think I want to see that movie. I know I've seen spoofs of it too. South Park spoofed, what's his name that from played Herman Munster?
Yeah, the old man.
Yeah, he's the caretaker or whatever in that movie. South Park spoofed him, and it was hilarious, but I knew what they were spoofing. But I don't think I could sit and watch that movie now. I just know what it's
Church,
about.
I think.
Like,
I think the cat's name was Church or something like that. Or something like, I don't remember what it was. It's some odd, weird name, but they name it. And I like cats a lot. I've got a Maine Coon, so I've got a cat. But I don't pay much attention to that cat because they tell me it reminds them of the cat from Pet Cemetery. And that to me just kind of pushes me away from it. You know what I'm saying? It just reminded me of being scared of those kind of things.
did that scare you in the 80s, Jan? Like that movie?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that little boy was creepy. And I
Yes.
always thought that the little boy came back to life, but he didn't. He was actually possessed
Oh, okay.
by some things in the cemetery.
Oh, okay.
So that's what made him come alive and kill.
Oh, I thought
was
he
the possession.
Yeah. I always thought that anything you buried in there came back alive.
It
Yeah,
was
right here it
possessing.
says online it talks about in the 1989 Pet Cemetery, the toddler Gage being resurrected while in the 2019 makes uses of his older sister Ellie. So,
Right. I've watched both
yeah.
of them.
Yeah, I've not seen any other one. I watched the first one and I'm like, you know what, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
You need to watch the second one. It's actually not that bad.
All right. What's next on the list?
Well, I cannot talk about scary things without talking about my favorite Halloween movie, 1986's Trick or Treat.
Which
Yeah,
we
I've not
mentioned
seen
that
it.
on
We talked about
the
it. Yeah.
Chris, please watch it. You'll love it.
favorite albums episode we did.
Yep.
That was in your
I've not seen it.
top 5 most listened to records. And
So, a bullied teenager, his heavy metal idol dies. His heavy metal idol is Sammy Kerr, but Sammy Kerr finds a way to leave him an album, and he's supposed to play this album at midnight, and it's just going to wreak havoc.
wasn't it midnight Halloween night he's supposed to play it?
Midnight
Yeah.
Halloween night. But then the guy figures out, oh, wait a minute, something really bad is going to happen if I play this. So then he has to destroy the record.
Well, it turns out he's trapped in the record, right? Like he put his soul in the record. So yeah, he comes back if you play that album.
Right.
It was a really good movie, I thought. And Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne plays a preacher in it who's fighting against like the evils of rock and roll, which is pretty good. And Gene Simmons plays a really cool DJ in it. That Gene Simmons in that movie, if he acted that well and everything else he did, could have been a movie star.
Yeah,
he
he
was
could've.
good in that.
Yeah.
He did schlock.
Well, he's a slop. Anyway,
How dare you.
you know my feelings. But is that the movie you're going to tell me? I'm looking at it right now. I don't know what the character's called, but it's like the thing with like a burlap face or something.
That's a different movie called Trick or Treat.
Oh, okay.
Here's a little trivia though about the movie Jen's talking about, Trick or Treat. The rock star in it was just an unknown. The guy's a dancer. He in real life he was a dancer, but he played a rock. He's playing an over the top rocker. Originally, they wanted Blackie Lawless from Wasp to play that character because he's like 6'7" in real life, and
Right.
and he was at his peak Wasp back then. But he wanted his music to be the soundtrack, and they'd already got Fastway to the soundtrack. And he said, "If I'm not going to be singing my own songs, I'm not going to do it." I think it would have been better with him doing it, but hey, it worked out.
Yeah,
I
I'm
have-
looking at yours like now.
Yeah.
I was thinking what the other one with the burlap sack guy. I'm like, well, I think
No,
I've seen
no,
that
that's
not-
movie, but this is a different one. Okay.
I have to give a special shout out to Lost Boys, 1987, about vampires.
Yeah, I never saw that
It
movie
didn't
until
scare me that
Jan and I
bad.
started dating, and it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I'm gonna bring one up now, and it's not a horror movie per se. It was a made-for-TV movie from 1978, and I watched it live because it was on NBC. I was 6 years old, and cause I remember watching it live, and I don't think it was ever replayed after that. And the people involved in it just soon this movie went away. And I'm thinking back to why did my mom and dad let me watch this movie? But they were pretty cool about stuff. Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park. Now, as a kid, a 6-year-old, who Kiss, at that point, they were like the biggest band in the world. They were everywhere on TV. You'd see commercials for, their dolls. They were big. You hear their music on the radio. But they put this movie out, and the plot revolves around Kiss using their superpowers to battle an evil inventor and to save a California amusement park from destruction. And the inventor is actually kidnapping people and making them into like evil robots and stuff, and having them. He eventually going to take over the park. They fired him when he was going to take it over. It is a very schlocky movie, but as a kid, he gets Evil Kiss that comes out, and Kiss turns evil. And their song "Hotter Than Hell," they come out and redo it as "Rip and Destroy," and they're telling the crowd of kids, like, go forth and just tear this park apart. And then the real Kiss gets out and fights them. But it creeped me out as a kid because the evil Kiss, and then they're fighting Kiss, and it's like this. And I watch it now. I have it on VHS, and I watch it now. I remember being scared. Oh my, what happened to Kiss? You watch it now, it is the most cheesiest stuff you've ever seen in your life. Ace's, rest in peace, Ace Frehley. His body double stuntman for the evil Kiss is a black guy in makeup. It's very obvious. You see it, it's like, how did this get made? And it's Peter Criss couldn't even show up to do his spoken stuff, so they had some guy overdub his voice, and it's the worst overdub you ever hear. I watch it now, I was like, whatever scared me about that? But as a kid, it scared me. But I was 6 years old. I mean, Kiss as a whole, at 6 years old, you see these big, tall guys in makeup spitting blood and shooting fire. I mean,
this giant tongue.
Yeah. So, but that was on my list as a kid. That scared me. Does it now?
I've never seen it, so
we
but I'll
got
take
to.
your
Well,
word for
I
it.
have the VHS. My buddy Matt.
I don't have a VCR, man.
I do.
Greg showed me a clip of
I'm
it.
sorry.
Matt Welch, rest in peace, Matt, gave me that VHS. He's the one that, bigger Kiss fan than I ever was, and got me back into him in the late 80s. And he gave me that movie, and it's sitting in my shelf over here, and we have to watch it. When I'm telling you, you've got to watch it, Chris, just for we need to have a night and have
It's a
people
comedy
over.
night.
Yeah, we need to have people there watch it for the comedy, because it's worth watching just to laugh.
Another one from the 80s that's not comedy that scared me. The first one came out in the late 70s, and they had like 3 or 4 of them in the 80s. And I'll kind of set it up. There was this whole myth, this mythological whatever, this whole aura about this movie that you had to sign waivers to go when it was at the theaters. You had to sign waivers to go into the theaters to watch it. That was the thing. There was like this is the scariest things. This is like they show people jumping out of windows, and they thought they were on the 13th floor, but they were on the 12th floor because they don't put a floor number there. They mix the floor, whatever, all these different things. You see these people getting hit by cars, run over. It's all this documentary, this live, like this actual footage. And you watch this stuff in the 80s, and you're like, oh my God. But we didn't go to the theater to see it because no theater would show it. So we had VHS. I don't know where my buddies got them, but we'd get together like on the weekends, and we'd hang out, and then like, hey, I got this movie for us to watch. And I'm like, what is it? And they told me, and they built the marketing behind this movie was absolutely the most insane marketing by word of mouth of what they did for it. And it got tons of negative reviews, but then it was just some bandit in countries and stuff. It's called Faces of Death. And there's like 8 of those total. And I watched probably 2 of them back when I was younger. And this was the most gruesome, the most unbelievable thing you're watching. But what they had done or whatever, I can't even speak right now, but what they did is they actually took together like pieces of like actual clips from like documentaries and reacted scenes and, real life deaths and reenacted scenes, and take clips from news clips and stuff and kind of put them all together. So it made it come out like it was this this face of death, but now it's just like you look back and you see all the stuff that goes behind it. You're just like, okay.
In my
I got
teenage
fooled.
mind, every bit of that was real.
Yeah,
Every
mine
movie
too.
of those that I watched,
Yes.
all of it was real.
Yep. And it was the most gruesome thing I had ever. Now, like horror movies are for scary. Like, and we talked a lot about horror movies and stuff, and we talked about creepiness, and we
And you
talked about
know it's
macabre and stuff.
fake.
Yeah, there's a difference in
this, we didn't
horror
know
and
it was
gruesome.
fake.
This was disturbing.
Yeah, there's a
And
difference in gruesome and
they-
horror to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got exactly what they wanted to do, and they did exactly what the person had done, what they wanted to communicate with the audience. Perfect. 100 out of 100.
Yeah.
But it was the most gruesome thing I'd ever seen in my life. It was actually a disturbing.
Jan, is that one you got from Sonia at the video store?
Yeah, that's how I
Okay.
watched it.
Yeah. We had my buddies lived in Lincoln, and they would go to the video store or wherever and get it video, and we'd watch it, and it was just like, oh my god, what is this? The first one I watched not knowing it and sat through it, and I'm like, what did I just watch? And they're like, hey, we got the next one, and I'm like an idiot. I sat through the second one and watched it, and I'm like, I'm never watching these again. It was too many.
I'll never watch them, so I'm good.
Yeah, you're definitely not missing anything.
Yeah. All right, Jan, what you got?
We've talked about scary people, scary dogs, but what about scary cars?
Ooh,
Oh yeah,
I know what this is.
1983 Christine movie.
I almost put
Yeah.
this on my list.
It was
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
And you're like, how could a car movie be scary? But this car had special
This
powers.
is a psychological movie. Yeah,
It
it'll get
was.
to. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that movie. And see, that's one that I saw on TV. That's one that would get played on TV, edited.
It did. Mm-hmm.
But it was creepy on TV too. Even whatever they had to cut out, it was that. And the guy that starred in it was in a lot of great '80s movies.
Keith Gordon.
Yes, he directs now. I've looked him up.
Yep.
Yeah, he was in Back to School, all that stuff. But that one, yeah,
That car was a 1958 Plymouth Fury.
And I wonder how many they destroyed for that movie.
Probably a lot. I
Yeah.
should look that up.
Yeah, that was a lot of these we're talking about. Oh, I'm not a fan of the guy as a person. Stephen King.
Oh
writes-
yeah,
can write some creepy stuff.
He
Yeah.
was the
yeah.
king.
Well,
Still is.
he
sometimes.
writes what he knows.
Yeah. So yeah, that
Yeah,
one
not a
that's a
fan.
good call on that because I almost
Yeah.
put that on my list.
A
And
movie that came out in 79 but scared me in the 80s
Yeah.
was Salem's Lot.
yeah, I never saw that, and we watched it a year or two ago, and it was very creepy.
It's very
Yeah, that-
creepy. That rocking chair that
I
moved on
think
its
you
own.
can. Okay,
Terrifying.
this might be. I mean, maybe I'm wrong on this, and y'all can agree or disagree. But I think a lot of stuff because that was a made-for-TV movie. It's a series, I think.
Right.
Like a quick. I think a lot of horror stuff that was made for TV is better in a lot of ways because they have to work harder at doing it without going over the top. And so a lot of horror stuff made for television was more psychological and mess with your mind than it is like gore and gruesome.
What's funny is you talk about made for television, you talk about horror movies, and then you know the movie Poltergeist,
Yes.
Yeah.
where goes up to the TV. You know what I'm talking about? Puts her
Yes.
hands on the.
Yes.
They don't have that anymore. The gray screen.
Yeah.
That end of the night kind of thing
Join
you
us,
used to get on
Carol
TV.
Ann.
Yeah,
The-
I mean,
Another thing, South Park spoofed that old lady, and it makes me step into the light.
South Park
Yeah.
spoofs everybody.
Yeah.
And can we
There's
just
nothing.
talk about how Red Dawn scared me in 1980?
Yeah, people wouldn't get that now. As any kids watch it now would think it's kind of cheesy, but that I watched it. I hadn't see
I
that
was
movie
so
until
afraid that the Russians were going to
yeah.
attack us.
Watching that a couple years ago with Jan is like I can see how this movie freaked people out because we all thought
Yeah.
maybe we were going to get taken out by nukes or Russia's going to attack us or anything. It was something we lived with fear in the 80s that kids don't live with now.
Did you watch that one, Chris?
But I did. But
The
we had
84
Patrick
version?
Swayze to save us.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
We need the whole Brat Pack to save us. They're all in
I
that
know.
movie.
Yeah.
Charlie
I just
Sheen,
remember him.
Emilio.
Yeah. I just always remember like Patrick in that movie for some reason. I just stood out there. And hey, we're talking about the 80s and we're talking about horror, but you cannot talk about horror movies in the 70s, 80s, or 90s without mentioning one woman, Elvira.
Oh yeah.
Mistress of the Dark.
You cannot, and she still does it. I mean, I don't know if
Yeah.
she's still alive today, but like she was doing, like I watched an episode of Storage Wars
Well-
the other week when I was out sick, and she was on an episode of that. I'm
Okay,
like, what in the world?
Chris, let me throw this back though. You say you can't talk. I guess you can't talk the 80s without Elvira, but you remember you've seen Ed Wood, right?
I have a long time ago. But
Okay,
yes.
the character Vampira in that is who Elvira stole her whole gimmick from.
Oh, really?
Vampira actually sued her and lost, but Vampira was the original Elvira. She did that in like the 60s and 70s, that whole character, and she would narrate horror movies on like, television late night, and then she got out of it,
Right.
and Elvira kind of picked that up and ran with it. But yeah, Elvira stories, me and Jen went to an auction it was probably last year, and one of the main reasons we went is because the guy had stand-ups, cardboard stand-ups, and there was an Elvira one.
From the 80s.
Yeah, from the 80s, and that was what we went for, to bid for that. And the first, he's throwing everything up for bid, and then he goes, and the first one he pulls up is a Dale Earnhardt from like early 90s, and it went for like $10. Nobody was bidding anything on it. And he pulled up, I think the next one was a Mark Martin one, and I bid $5 on it and won it. And I kept waiting, and the Elvira was sitting there, and he never put it up for auction. And when it was over, Jen went and talked to him because she knows him. He was like, I know the guy to put these in here, and he was not wanting these to go this cheap, so I'm just not going to do it. And I was like, I came here for that. I just wanted the Elvira one to put down here in the basement, and he didn't sell it. I guess he took it back to the guy, and the guy never sold him.
Wow.
But
You
that
wouldn't
would have
sell
been
it to you
cool
after,
down
I
here.
guess.
No,
Yeah.
that would have been cool down here, though. And I'm
Yeah.
keeping my eyes out on one. But,
She is 74 years old. She
Yep.
was born in 1951.
yeah.
So yeah, but you think about the 80s, you think about that whole thing. It's Elvira. I mean, that was the cool part.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, she was,
Yeah.
she was easy
Especially
on
if
the
you
eyes,
was
so
a
to speak.
boy.
Yeah.
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 Did Scooby-Doo ever scare you?
No, but I love Scooby Doo.
The Scrappy episode scared me because, like, how did this get made?
I have
No.
a triplet niece and nephews, and they're 13 now. But when they were 5 or 6, my parents were watching Scooby-Doo one day, and they had to turn it off because it scared the kids so bad.
Well, hey, some of those, luckily they had probably the Harlem Globetrotters to help them solve the crime.
Yeah. They always saved the day.
Yeah.
I will tell you something totally not movie related,
Okay.
and they didn't scare me. But we're going to talk about it. Not movie related, not TV related, not any other related, but it's cereal related. For me in the 80s, the monster cereals, Blueberry, Frankenberry, and Count
Blueberry,
Chocula.
Frankenberry, yeah.
That's the greatest cereal ever made. Those are the greatest mascots for any kind of product cereal related in my mind.
Someone
Those
should do a
were-
podcast on that.
I know. Maybe somebody has done one. Maybe they'll re-resurrect it.
Yes.
But you talk about monsters in that time, and I'm actually going to send you when we hang up. I've got the Monster Mash, their version of their song they did on my computer. I'll send it to you. It was based off of them and stuff. But it was just so. I mean, I'm in my office right now, and I'm looking at my Funko Pops of them, and it's just, to me, they're just like, they're the greatest. But yeah, when we talk about Halloween and stuff, I always have a box or two of those at my house, and then they'll go on sale after Halloween for like at Walmart when they start reducing that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll buy probably about a dozen boxes of each of them just to keep them around.
Wow.
It's just so good. I had to mention the monster cereals while we're on the phone.
Well, that'll definitely, next week, our podcast is going to be on more of the Halloween and trick-or-treating stuff. So we'll bring that up more in that
We'll
one.
get a little bit more in depth next week
Yeah.
on it.
So, Jan, you got something to add?
No, it's that, other than 80s movies that scared me a lot, but the only other thing that really scared me a lot was my daddy's belt.
Oh, yeah.
That was, in the 80s, that was terrible.
Yeah, the fear of the dad's belt. Yep.
Mine was my mom's paddle.
Oh,
Yeah. One last thing that
Yes.
scared me as a child growing up in the 80s, and I think it was the late 70s when this part scared me, was Skylab crashing and was going to kill us all. If anybody remembers that, we'll bring that up on another podcast. But I hid under my bed one time afraid that it was going to land through the roof and kill us all. So,
I was more afraid of Skynet.
good 80s reference.
Nice. Good call.
Well, we're going to wrap it up. Anybody have anything else to add before we go?
Were y'all scared of the Terminator movie?
That one didn't scare me. I loved it.
No.
It was kind of creepy. Let's see.
Yeah.
That's the first one is the one where he takes his eyeball out
Yeah.
or whatever. It's got
Yeah,
the
that
red
was
shining.
cool.
That
Yeah.
was kind of creepy.
We'll have to do. Yeah, there's definitely a podcast on 80s action movies and action heroes for sure coming.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we're going to end it. Chris.
I will see y'all later.
All right, Chris. Thanks for calling in.
All right. See you. Bye.
Jan, end it as always.
Shine on.
The Pixel People